Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Bumblebee. Yes, it is Bumblebee, and yes, it is a new version of the 76 Camaro Bumblebee bod, the first body that he had in any of the movies. Well, that he appeared in, not canonically the first body. But anyway, it's great. No, I'm surprised, honestly, now that I'm seeing this, that like, hey, they never redid the 76 body ever, because like, well, it's cool, and I have it. That toy's, that's a bad toy. Of the bad looking toy of Bumblebee at the very least. The movie one toys needed some practice on a few of them, but a couple of them were good. But the 76 Camaro Bumblebee was not that good, but I will show that off when we get to comparisons. But before we actually get into this Bumblebee, box time. I mean, it's a deluxe class box. I haven't shown off the deluxe class box yet, but it's pretty much the same thing as the Voyager box, just smaller. Takara Generations Transformers. This one's from the first Transformers movie, Bumblebee, #1, Studio Series Bumblebee. Words, Bumblebee, Studio Series Deluxe Class. Bumblebee, Autobot logo sticking out of the side of the box. Back of the box, police chase, bio, cross sell, all that good stuff. And taking a look at the backdrop. This is police chase backdrop. So this is from the scene where Bumblebee fought Barricade in the first movie. Studio Series 01, Transformers, Autobot, Generations logo, Transformers first film, authentic Transformers. And we will get back to that when we get to the end of the review. But onto the toy itself. This is a nice looking Camaro, nice looking 76 Camaro. I am excited for this toy because nostalgia, because shut up dogs. I hope you don't hear the dogs, but the dogs are next door barking and I can hear them very clearly through the walls. But this Bumblebee looks it's great to have the 76 Bumblebee in an updated toy body. Big problem, small. Compared to other things, and we'll show that off with the comparisons. I don't find it to be as small, and like this, the whole point of the Studio Series, the whole thing with Studio Series is that instead of like them being all like the same size, they're actually going to attempt some movie scale. So it does make sense Bumblebee's a bit smaller. I just kind of wish to balance it out. They gave him a couple more accessories. I'll get into that in a little bit, but he is a little bit of a smaller car. So if you want your movie figures to be in scale, you will probably have to get whatever comes out in this line to make everything scale accurate. And I wish he came with a couple more accessories just to balance out the fact that he is a smaller figure. Both in car and robot mode. Doesn't seem so bad in car mode, but in robot mode, it's a little bit more noticeable. Just another thing I do want to bring out. There's a lot of like kibble that sticks out from like underneath the car, and like obviously the underneath of the car mode is always going to hold all the kibble. You can see all the kibble, but especially with like these panels back here, just because of how the car is shaped, they kind of stick out when you look at it from the side, which is unfortunate. And it's really a minor annoyance, but something I just want to bring out, because like if this was the 08 body, if they ever do like the 08 body or another updated body with a more modern Camaro, this, and they do the exact same transformation, this would all be covered. Just because of how the 76 Camaro shaped, it's not covered. But taking a closer look at the actual details and painting, you got a lot of nice silver up front here, silver bumper, silver grille, silver headlights. Okay, you got the stripes going on along the front, nothing on the roof, and along the back you got some completely clear windows, so you do end up seeing all of the kibble, well, not the kibble, but all of the robot bits hiding out inside there. Unfortunately, the back is also clear. You got some black wheels with some silver rims that doesn't seem to be painted. So it seems those were two separate parts that they put together. I want to say, don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% positive. But these feel like those feel like two different pieces because that feels like molded gray rather than painted gray. To me, at the very least. Though I will also note the hubcaps are different on the front and the back wheels. I just noticed them like they both have the 5 spokes things, but this one has the thing come out, and this that has the center be coming out, and this one has the center going in, and it's also different. So that's weird. The tires are weird, and it's the same on the both sides. So the 2 front tires are the same, 2 back tires are the same, but like you can, let me get a little more white going this way. So you can tell how that's shaped and then how that's shaped. So that's just different. It's probably accurate. I'm just like, oh, that's weird. I never noticed that before. It's kind of weird. But yeah, also then again underneath, Bumblebee, and then on the back you got red paint for the taillights and silver bumper in the back there. We do have a case of different yellows going on the body, if you can tell, because clear plastic, you got to paint it and it's not going to be the same as molded plastic. That's always the case with yellow bodies. It annoys me, but it's what has to happen. It's how it works. You're not going to get it perfectly close, but on this camera, it actually looks kind of fine. And in person, I can notice it a bit more, unfortunately. But that's all for the car itself. Onto the accessories, you have his arm cannon, and we'll get to how that works in robot mode when we get to robot mode. You can see it's got nice, the yellow there, and a nice lot of silver going on, which actually does bother me, and I'll get into why that is when we get to the robot mode. Not because it is silver, but because other things are not silver per se. But you can't like weapon this out in the car mode or anything. There is storage for it, however. So there's this squared hole, that little half oval doorway kind of a thing, and those are going to fit the yellow square and circle pegs that you can see right there. They'll just plug in there, and then you got the cannon sitting on the back. And I don't know, it's like, do you have an extra gas can sticking out hanging out of the back of your car? Like, that doesn't make sense, but like, hey, you can put it somewhere, so I guess that's something. But that's all there is to say on the vehicle mode, so let's get into some size comparisons. Here he is with Legends Class Titan's Return Bumblebee. And you can see how they scale and that they are both using very different shades of yellow. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. And while Bumblebee is the same length as Chrome Dome, you can tell he is substantially not as wide as Chrome Dome. So there's that. Voyager Class Megatron. I think I just moved my camera a little bit. Let's restrain that out. You can see how they scale. Leader Class 6-shot. There's the camera up a hair, not all the way. And you can see that scale. And here he is with the first movie 2007 76 Camaro Bumblebee. And you can see this is a bit smaller. This is a fair bit smaller, but you can also see the differences going on across the body. And yeah, so that is all there is to say on Bumblebee in his alternate mode. So let's roll right along and get into his robot mode. So easiest way to start is we're gonna come to the sides. We're gonna pull these wheels out a little bit, just so as we can get clearance, so as we can come under here and pull the arms out. This is loose, and I'll get into why when we get done transforming. But then again, come pull this out, and then you can have then you'll have the clearance to get those wheels all the way out. And you just rotate the arms. You actually flip this up too, so do that just so you have a little more clearance because of those shoulder spikes he's got going on there. Do that, flip that out, and stick the arm back on. Actually, I got that backwards. Oh dear. There we go. So they would be stored like that, and then you can fold them out like that. Then we'll come to the sides here, and we're gonna open the doors, which includes this little bit of back section behind the window right there. So that all folds out. This all folds out. Oh yeah, oh, look at that. There's a friction hinge there that I pulled off. Whee! And now it's time to talk about this roof that I dropped on the ground. So actually it's going to be better to show it off in a little bit. So I'm taking this off. I'm putting it to the side, and it's going to be sit right there until I get to a point where I can comfortably talk about why that's a thing. That just shows I can better show you because it involves showing the hinge joint on the roof, but I need to get that pulled out. Actually, we can do that right now because at this point in the transformation, there's enough clearance that you can get this whole front section and flip it out. And since there is the clearance now, so you can tell this is a friction joint. You see? That's a friction joint, and these two hinges are supposed to fit around that. I have heard several reports of this popping up during the transformation. From my understanding, if you do it the transformation correctly, this shall stay on. But the thing that I've noticed is that like normally it should stay. However, mine does not. And if you can see that the two clear plastic hinges, friction joint sections for that hinge, they're not straight. They are bent out to the side. So that is a manufacturing error rather than tolerances of the hinges and the moving parts. So from my understanding, that's not a common problem. But the problem, the typical problem is just how the tolerance, how things have to move. You have to move things in a certain way or else this is going to pop off. My particular version is mismanufactured, or there is a manufacturing error or whatever that does make this friction hinge just not. Like, look at that. I didn't do anything and it just fell off. Like, it does not stay on for me, unfortunately. So do be aware. Do be aware that's a thing. Now we can move on. Sorry for that. It is important to discuss. So we do have to, but we can now continue the moving of the on. And we are going to flip these little yellow sections that I already did on the other side and just move them up and out of the way. And now here's a funky, very funky bit of transformation. So we're going to untab. There's a tab right on, let's see what's the best way I can show this off. Okay, so there's a tab there that goes into a hole on the back of what will be his thigh right there, right there. It's going to go right where my fingernail is. And then how this is going to work, we are going to bend this entire section out and around like that. This yellow section, which you can see folded up like this, will have to move to get that out of the way. And then the back section of the car will fold around with the leg going down. And then you fold the back windscreen down like so. You straighten out the foot and you slide it in because it is on a slider. So then it can sit, so it can sit with the foot against the wheel. So there's how the leg looks in robot mode. Here's how the leg looks in vehicle mode. So again, we will untab this, fold this around like that, and then we are going to bend all of that around, straighten the foot out, slide it in, collapse the windscreen, and there you have the legs all done. You're going to want to flip this panel all the way forward now. And then there's this tab right there that will go into that slot on his stomach right there. And while we're thinking about it, let's tilt up the headlights to give him the typical Bumblebee body look. You can flip the hood all the way back, and I'll just put this piece on when we're done here. So then you just adjust the wings, and then you're gonna fold these bits down to mimic how he actually has a double set of wings in the movies, even though it's not the right angle. And it looks like there's a couple of like joints here that kind of look like they might have been hinges. So at one point this may have been designed to like actually hinge out. So it's like you can get a little more of like an actual like Bumblebee wing rather than these little tiny things just sticking straight down, which I think is a bit more would have been a bit more accurate, but I guess they couldn't budget that for whatever reason. But minor gripes aside, now we just come down, straighten out the arm, rotate the arm, flip out the hand. Same on the other side, straighten out, rotate, flip out the hand. And if you have a problem, like I do, you then fold these in, fold that in, and just kind of get that all wedged into place. And then that hood roof will sit inside that back cavity like so, and then just adjust the wings and the wheels to be a little more, to be whatever position you want. And there you have a Bumblebee in his robot mode, and he looks really good. When you just look at him, just looking at him, he looks really good. Problem becomes when you get into the nitty-gritty little bit. Biggest problem I have, the bumpers, the back bumpers, because of how the thighs work, they clash into each other so like if you want to get like a really standing straight up pose, they are going to stick together. You have to give them a little bit of leg spacing or bending, but it's just a little weird that there's barely any room between those legs, which is again very, very odd to me, and that bothers me a bit. The roof is just, I wish this kind of folded up a little cleaner and closer to the back. I understand why not, just because of how the transformation works, and also there is weapon storage back here, and I'll get to that once I get done. And just how the shoulders work and how square the body is. These little bits can get in the way of some arm posing, but overall this is a very nice representation of the on-screen Bumblebee, even with its flaws and its small stature. But we'll get into the stature bit in a bit. So for articulation, his head, and well, actually, sorry, looking at the body closer, you got his nice movie head, silver face, tiny blue eyes, little red Autobot symbol on that head crest there. You got the car bumper front. You got a black grille, even though that should be silver, because that was how it was with the vehicle. Then you got the rest of the chest and lower body. Black, grays, yellows, his infamous oil cap there. You got some black thighs with the yellow bits there. You got his lower legs with the yellow and gray there. You got his feet with the wheels in the feet. Silver, yellow pieces all over the place there. The arms are dark gray and yellow coloration going on there. He's got hands there. And then you have the back of Bumblebee. And now for articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees, can look up a little bit, cannot look down. Arms can rotate a full 360 degrees. They can bend out that far. There is a 90-degree elbow bend, and wrist only has transformation. Waist does have a 360-degree rotation. There is a ball joint at the hip, so bend that far forward, bend that far forward if you get the roof out of the way, and then that all falls out on me. I have that. I was going to put that in the wrong way. There we go. Where did I put? No, it's the right way. Anyway, thigh swivel. He does have thigh swivel. Unfortunately, you cannot get a full 360 degrees out of it because, well, actually you can if you bend this little piece out of the way. And again, this piece can do whatever you want. Bends that far and can... I think you can almost get it to go full 360 if you want to, but like it's supposed to be in one specific position besides transformation. Yep, that's a full 360 degree rotation on that piece. Yay! Knee bend, 90 degrees of bend at the knee. Wheels can go forward. I mean, feet can go forward and back, and that's it. No tilt, but you do get some nice forward and backward tiltage so that you get a little something in those feet. As for his accessory, to use that, you take the arm off and just plug the cannon into that same spot. There we go. And you got him with his cannon. Yay. Big problem that I noted that I said I was going to have before. It's a bright silver cannon, though his arms are dark gray. I understand the painting. There's no gray painting, it seems, on this toy. It seems. And it seems like all the paint is yellow. So like all the things are molded black and then the yellow is all paint. But that just doesn't match with the rest of the limbs. Like if all the limbs were silver, that'd be fine. And that would make more sense with like the head and the feet, but like minor botherances anyway. But oh no, my camera is falling over. Camera falling over. Anyway, storage for either the cannon or the arm. There is a hole in Bumblebee's butt, and there is a post on the arm or the cannon. And you just stick that in there. And that stores away nice and cleanly. Actually, I find that arm stores away a lot better than the cannon does because you can't like just get out of here. Just get out of here. Like here, you can't even see the hand. But if you were to do the same for the cannon, if I can get it in there. Come on. Get in there. Get in for the review. Get. There we go. You can definitely see the cannon, and also it's large enough that it does get in the way of leg articulation. So oftentimes when displaying, I do like putting the cannon in and then just hiding the extra arm back here. So, but I will not do that for this review. I will just give him back his arm. Flip that hand out. And I have to put the roof back on because this is again just this particular issue is just an issue with mine. It's unfortunate and makes this toy even a bit more flimsy than it has already been described. And speaking of flimsy, this tab is very loose. This connection is very loose. It's a lot tighter on the cannon arm, so that's also why I like the cannon in there more, even though the paint doesn't make sense with the gray arms. But anyway, whatever. But now, with all of that said about the robot mode, we can now get into some size comparisons. Here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee. And this is where you can start seeing the size stuff with the robot mode, because this Bumblebee, like, let's get that chest correct, basically comes up to Bumblebee's chest bumpers. And then we have Deluxe Chrome Dome, and Chrome Dome is a full head taller than Bumblebee, than the Studio Series Bumblebee. By far taller. The wings don't even make Bumblebee as tall as Chrome Dome. Chrome Dome is just a lot taller and a little bit beefier than Studio Series B. Voyager class Megatron. Sorry about the leg straightening because Megatron was just being a jerk and not standing straight. And you can see Bumblebee just comes up to Megatron's waist. Here he is with Leader 6 shot. And Bumblebee's head barely comes up, just about comes up to the bottom of that skirt panel. Let's erase that up. Then we have the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. And look, you can see Bumblebee is quite shorter than both of them. You can see how he looks next to them. And then here is movie 1, Bumblebee, if he wants to stand, you know, if that's something you'd like to do. And come on, be straight. Stand up straight for me, please. Fine, don't just be a jerk. Be a jerk then. And you can see this one is a lot larger than that bee, but I still like the look of the Studio Series as opposed to the movie one, because look at this. This doesn't look like Bumblebee from the movie at all. It doesn't look like him at all. But yeah. But yeah, overall, I like this toy in concept a whole lot. And there's a lot of things about this toy that I do like, though there are a number of things I do not like, namely with how my roof is weird, how the dark gray and the silver are weird with the weapon and stuff and that kind of a thing. The leg transformation just gets in the way of robot mode posing a little bit. Just a couple minor things, but then the big thing is he is small, and I completely understand and completely support scale accurate. However, they should have given him something a bit more than just the arm cannon and the backdrop, which, by the way, here he is next to the backdrop. And you can see he barely even fills that up. But, yeah. I would recommend this toy if he wasn't $20. I think with current toy pricings, maybe $15. Just you can get him on a discount. That's all I'm saying. If you want this guy, get him at a discount, because I like him. I like the look of him. We don't have any other good 76 bodies. Well, maybe depending upon how bad you think this is, maybe you don't think we have any good 76 bodies. But out of the two that we do have, this is the better one of the 76 Camaro Bumblebee's bodies. So if you really like that design from the first movie, get it. But again, if you can, find it at a discount, because I don't think the parts count makes it worth $20. And the size I don't think makes it worth $20, unfortunately. But this has been a very long review for a very small figure. But that is all I have to say about Studio Series Bumblebee. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.